Welcome back to An Athlete's Journey. I'm your host, Travis Reed. Today, I got a special guest, somebody who I've been knowing since he was about 18, since I was about 19. You know what I'm saying? Real good dude, always been cool, always been, always kept it 100, even when he got big. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate him so much for coming on my little old show. You know what I'm saying? It means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know, like I've been on Matt since he was like no tattoos on the neck, no tattoos, just one tattoo on the arm.
Early
so
days.
so just appreciate him for coming on. My boy Matt Barnes, man. Say what's up, Matt.
All right, what's up, bro? Appreciate you having me.
Oh man, it's all love, man. Always, always. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get right into it. Like I said, people, y'all don't know Matt is like the busiest dude I know. Got about 18 jobs. He might be a Jamaican straight up, you know what I'm saying? He got so many goddamn jobs.
Yeah.
So how did your basketball journey start, man?
Man, I actually grew up a football player. Trav, I was my dad played a little bit of semi-pro ball and street ball, and so football was kind of my first knack. Kind of started picking up basketball a little bit more serious, uh, middle towards the end of junior high, because I just kept growing. So when I went to high is when it really got, started getting serious. I have two twin boys now. We are just talking about our boys offline, and AU is so serious now. But I really didn't start AU until I got into high school. You know what I mean? So, that's where I kind of started, picking up some notoriety. Played varsity as a freshman out in Sacramento, but still was really torn because football is my best sport, my first sport, my most natural sport. But I just kept getting taller and taller and taller. So through high school, played a little bit of everything: football, baseball, basketball, track. Was an All-American in football and basketball. And speaking of AU, I was playing with EBO and took a trip to LA and went on UCLA's campus. That was the first time I ever went there and fell in love instantly. You know what I mean?
Nah, man, I knew that you was like a great football player. I used to like read, like whoever was coming in, like as far as recruits, I'd be like, oh, All-American in basketball, All-American in football. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Is he gonna do the both thing or what? You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah.
I thought about it, but my senior year of high school, I broke my toe in football, but kept playing because I was chasing the record, which I eventually got and broke the record. But right when I got to UCLA, I ended up having to have surgery on that toe. So I was out like my first 5 months of college, and that kind of slowed down the process. And then, once I got in that UCLA basketball system, that's kind of just was what it was, you know what I mean? So that's when you and I met and got a chance to meet our brother Billy, rest in peace, and the homies. And I was kind of off from there, I mean, going to UCLA, and because you ended up traveling, I mean, we get the best of the best there, you know what I mean? And sometimes it gets overcrowded. So I was someone who played point guard and wing in high school, and I got thrown down at the four position when I got to college, you know what I mean? And we were like 4 5. We had Gav Zurich, we had Moiso, motherfucking Lab through Farnham in there. So it was just there was a lot of shit going on. I think it hurt, but it also helped me. You know what I mean? Because I had to develop a new skill set coming into college. But it also put me behind the eight ball once I got to the NBA because, now it would have been perfect. Now everyone does a little bit of everything and it's small ball. But when I first got to the NBA in 02, they were real bigs. The power forwards, Weber, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, McDyess, motherfucker me. You know what I mean? So then I had to move back, figure out that position on the fly. So it was a crazy journey, a fun journey, an up and down journey. A journey I doubted myself on early on, but made it work.
Nah, hey man, like I said, I think like we both, I felt like if we would have played the NBA now, would have, I mean, obviously you had a motherfucking 10, 12-year career, or not even, no, I'm sorry, 15-year career, but for myself, it was like, shit, like I had to, hit that water, you know what I'm saying, to go overseas. I remember a team cut me in Poland because I wasn't 6'10". I was only, 6'7", 6'8", or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I remember like when I went overseas in 02. So I remember that, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, small ball, like I said, small ball is the thing now. And it's, it's kind of what I teach my kids. It's not so much position based now. It's just the ability to do a little bit of everything on the court. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
And
mhm, mhm.
well rounded. And, that's what both of both of us did. You were naturally kind of a four that could even really play like some stretch because you could shoot the ball a little bit. You know what I mean? And that fits perfect into what today's game is. But again, back then, power forwards were bangers and mid range shooters. And I'm just like,
Mhm, mhm.
I'm coming into the league at, 6'8", 220. These motherfuckers are 6'10", 6'11", 260, 262.
Yeah, right? Like you said, Duncan, you know what I'm saying, McDice, Karl Malone, you know what I'm
Karl
saying?
McDice, KG, this is like that Rasheed Wallace,
Yep.
real power. It could have been probably the greatest power forward era ever. I mean, there were
Yeah.
so many forwards in the game. So I'm coming out of UCLA as a four-man, like, yeah, this shit ain't gonna work.
I gotta switch positions though.
Yeah.
No, I got you, man. I got you. So obviously you being, we're gonna go back a little bit, but obviously you being All-American in both sports, basketball and football. What was your most memorable moment in high school?
Um, I remember I broke the state record at a game, and then also probably to be honest with you, even before that, my junior season, I caught the game winning where I had a terrible game. I ended up having 2 touchdowns, but I think I dropped 2 touchdowns and I was hurt. And it came down to the final drive. And I remember I caught the game winning touchdown up at a school called Nevada Union, which was a super racist school, super
Right.
racist school. Ended up, catching the game winning touchdown as the time expires. Fans are coming on the field, nigger this, nigger that, followed our bus, threw rocks at our bus. But it felt that we knocked them out of the playoffs and got us in the playoffs. So I'd probably say, just my experience overall, because football is just so much different than basketball. But my experience overall playing football was great. But I'd probably say those two things was my junior year when I caught the game winning touchdown, and then my senior year when I broke the state record 4 touchdowns.
Okay. Now, side question for you. Do you still like really pay attention to football or do you just like really focus on basketball now?
Bro, to keep it G, I was so excited football came back. Just the other Sunday, I sat in my little man cave, didn't brush my teeth probably until like 5 o'clock. Like, leave the fuck alone. Like, I love football. Love football to death. Always, there's not a day that passes. I think like, yo, what would have happened? And I never want to be, obviously making it to the professional ranks. I have so much respect for everyone who, has an opportunity to make it professional in their sport. But to me, there's no doubt I could have made it pro in the NFL. I was 6'8". I ran a 4.39. I can really catch. I understood how to play. I can hit. I can run routes. So there's not a day that passes thinking like, yo, what if I would have chose this? So I do love football. It breaks my heart that my kids aren't really too into football. But yeah, I mean, every Sunday, if I'm not coaching my kids in a tournament, I'm locked in on Sunday Ticket, the Red Zone channel, or if the Niners are playing, I'll watch actually the Niner game. But outside of that, yeah, every Sunday is don't fuck with me day.
Respect, you know what I'm saying? I get that. Trust me, man. Like for me, like I gave up football probably when I was 8th grade. I remember I was playing wide receiver because I was tall, like yourself. Nigga hit me in the leg. Nah, man, I'm cool. Oh, nah, this ain't for me. Let me stick with this basketball thing. So
I got hit from behind and they took my knees out, and I'd be like, damn, that shit like hurt, like
yeah,
really
yeah.
just made me mad. So that's kind of where but it was funny, Travis. I just always consider myself a football player playing basketball. You know what I mean? And that's why, once I got to the NBA and kind of found my calling card on defense and the physicality, everyone's like, well, you know what? Like, where is this coming from? And I love football so much. On the offensive end, I'd get out and run the lanes and catch lobs and finish layups like a receiver would run routes for the quarterback. And then on the defensive end, like I love to be physical. You know what I mean? And when you can actually be, a little bit physical. So when people running through the lane, throwing up them arm bars or bodying people or, doing all kinds of shit down there, to me, the physicality was just the football side of me, which I love.
No, I hear you. I hear you, man. Like I said, I can contest. He was physical. I had to go against him pretty much every day in practice. So yeah, I remember that. All right.
Like
So
in college,
you,
go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, what were you in college? Like 230, 240,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
maybe 250s after a Shakey's night.
yeah. All right.
Down there with you, Dan, and Moisa, I'm just like, this shit ain't even fair, man.
No, I got you. Trust me, it was a situation where they were like, Matt, go down with the big dudes. I used to see Matt Fate like, damn, nah, I can't go with the wings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
But
saying? Nah, but anyway, so you obviously great player, and I know you fell in love with UCLA. Was there any other school that you thought about as far as going to college?
yeah, Cal was a big because I didn't really want to go far. I'm a
Mhm.
California motherfucker. So Cal, they were gonna let me play both. So that was a play. Me and Ray were young, we're AAU teammates, and that's my brother. And me, him, and Dan were actually supposed to go to Cal, but that ended up falling through. But UCLA was on there, Michigan, to play both. But I'm really glad that I stuck with UCLA because although it taught me to persevere because obviously I didn't get the success right away, that I thought I was going to have. I got thrown in a different position and really had to kind of navigate my way through that. And then just,
Mhm.
that the LA nightlife, you know what I mean, which can consume a lot of people. Our former teammate Jerron Rush is a perfect example of someone who was super talented that got consumed, by the nightlife. So I think
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
so many, things and lessons and kind of prepared me for what the NBA life was going to be like. So, to this day, going to UCLA and my time, in Westwood, outside of having children, I put my experience at UCLA above my NBA experience. I put having kids, UCLA, and then the NBA. Like I had an absolute blast at UCLA.
No, I hear you on that, man. Like I said, I remember, you know, obviously, in college we was all going against like each other. You know what I'm saying? Because I always felt like I knew they're gonna put Jerron, Earl, Barron, boom. That's like this is starting three, and then like all the rest of us was kind of fighting for like
And where you
whatever where you can get in, where you fit in.
every little minutes you could have. Yeah.
You
You
know what I'm
left.
saying?
Did you leave after you left after your sophomore year? Or
Yeah,
after,
yeah. After your first year, I left because I
okay.
was like, man, fuck this. You know what I'm saying? If he gonna put Farnham over me, fuck it, I'm out. You know what
He
I'm
was
saying?
fuck with Farnham. I like Farnham to this day,
I know
but
I love Farnham as a person,
like,
as great. But I'm like, if he said Matt, okay, if Matt was over me, if he was over me, fine.
yeah.
But then he was like, no, we're gonna put, sometimes we're gonna like, with Lav, he was like, play you 30 minutes, then 6, then 20, then like I couldn't play that way.
Pull you out after 30 seconds, and then he'd do it he'd only fuck with a couple of us. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
He do. He fucked with Ray a little bit. Billy. He was scared to death of Earl, so he didn't fuck with Aaron. He was scared of Jerron, so he had his guys that he liked to pick on, and we were two of them.
Yeah, exactly, my dude. Exactly. So I was like, fuck it. I didn't, like I said, I almost with Oklahoma ended up staying home, because I didn't really want, like you said, I'm a California dude. I didn't really want to leave. So end up going to Long Beach State. So yeah. But I was like, I was happy because I was like, I wish that you came with me. I was like, nigga, I want to take Matt with me. Fuck it. We gonna go hoop at Long Beach State together and kill.
You was hooping over there too. You was
Yeah.
definitely.
That's all I want. All I want to do was fucking play. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really matter, like, as far as anything else. But like, all right, well, let's get back into it. What would you say the hardest thing was for you, from like high school to college? What was like the hardest like transition?
I just think in high school, everyone is a big fish in a small pond. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Going to UCLA, I mean, your class was the number one recruiting class in the country, and then we came in the year after with the number one recruiting class in the country. So I just think just the transition of okay, you know, and we really both were similar. You know what I mean? BD was the McDonald's All American. Earl
Mm-hmm.
outed. although it was good, I missed the McDonald's game. All four of the guys that came in with me made the McDonald's. So it was just, okay, well, my back's against the wall now. You know what I mean? And to think about it's weird. Like out of both classes, out of your class, out of my class, I ended up playing the longest time out of everyone and playing NBA. But like again, my path was an absolute grind. But I cherish that and appreciate that because again, I think I appreciated the process more. I appreciated every game more because I understood like when I got drafted, I got cut and had to go to the D League back then. That shit was fucking awful. You know what I mean? I finally got my shot in the NBA. It was just like it's either me or you, and whether we were gonna play hoop or we are gonna fight or whatever. Like I was gonna be the motherfucker to make it. So I just think that grind and that journey just made me appreciate the process and what I accomplished so much more.
No, no, I will agree with you. I mean, I remember because I remember you did the D League. Did you do the ABA too?
Yeah, I did the ABA for like 3 weeks with Dennis Rodman was on our team, which is a whole nother story, which was crazy. Playing in Juarez, Mexico, and man, taking buses and buses breaking down. Like it was just a fucked up situation, you know what I mean? And I was telling myself, like, I know I'm better than this, but am I? Because like, why am I here? If I'm better than this, why am I here? So you start playing mind games, and it kind of got to the point where like, shit, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna try to go play football. But luckily it did end up working, and I was able to make a career out of it.
No, that grind, I hear you on that. That grind is probably hard as shit. Like, yeah, like, and one of the reasons why I didn't go in the D League because I heard that was like, this JC pretty much, but worse.
And it's even, I mean, once you get to the NBA, you expect the politics, but even in the G League, the shit was politicking. You know what I mean? Because or the D League, because I played in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I like dude. We're cool to this day. But Jason Capel from North Carolina, remember he was a McDonald's All American.
I remember.
His hometown, and his dad was the head coach. So I come in and I start. I'm starting the first handful of games, then I sprain my ankle, and I'm coming off the bench and playing like little tiny minutes, and I'm thinking like, the fuck. Definitely got to hold your tongue because you don't want to get no reputation to be a problem in the D League. You know what I mean? So I just kept working my ass off until I started getting more minutes. But it's just like, damn, it's already politics, and we're not even at the big show yet.
I hear you on that, brother. I hear you on that. Well, we're going, like I said, rewind a little bit. I want to know, what was your greatest triumph at UCLA? And the greatest failure, both.
I don't really think about failure, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, although there was failure, I chose to use failure as a learning experience and try to learn out of every situation. Like I said, you had Laugh for 2 years. I was someone that Laugh picked on, and he would embarrass me and scream at me and yell at me. And I really wanted to whoop his ass, but I knew that probably would have, obviously ended my career right there. So I just think, all the hard times that he had put me through, or being homesick at time because I wasn't playing, could have possibly broke someone. Again, I tried to make it, a fuel for my fire when I finally got out there. So I always was someone who tried to look at the negative and, how can I make this fuel or flush it? You know what I mean? Or kind of the three ways I looked at it. So never really no failures the way I looked at it. My greatest accomplishment, I just think, was, really finding my way there. Going from, when I first came in, I was playing. I remember Barron was hurt, so I was starting for Barron, and then when Barron came back, I kind of just got lost in the mix. So just being able to kind of find my footing there, grinding, and being able to be, one of our better players, going into our junior year, and really putting myself in a position to have a career after basketball. And then I think just all the lifelong friends that I made from there. I mean, although me and you were teammates, for 1 year, we've been cool ever since. And talk to Earl, still talk to BD. I'm with Ray almost every day. Jelani, who was before us, is he works with me. just those connections. Moose Bailey, is the homie still. So it's just like the friendships and the experiences and really just saying that that I went to UCLA. I mean that carries a lot of weight because if you think about it, I went to UCLA, I played for the Lakers, and I played for the Clippers. So my Southern California love is heavy. So that helped me. We'll get there after. We'll get there eventually, but that after basketball, it really helped me. You know what I mean? Because I went to
Mhm.
the three biggest, maybe not the Clippers, the two biggest, Lakers and UCLA. I was a part of both of them, so it was just dope.
Yeah, I want to add to that. Like, I think Matt might be the only person in NBA history to play for, or yeah, just go to UCLA, Clippers, Lakers, Golden State, and Sacramento. Like, you was the California king. So, you know what I'm saying?
Heavy, you know what I mean? And some people look like, damn, you bounced around, and I did. And part of it, I think, Trav, was because I just had a chip on my shoulder, so I wasn't taking no shit. You know what I mean? And
Mhm,
when
mhm, mhm.
coaches would start pulling bullshit, when you finally get there, you know what I mean? Like college, you're kind of scared too because it's college, But once you get to the NBA, you're a man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Mhm, mhm.
start calling motherfuckers on bullshit. And I think sometimes that was my downfall because I would see the bullshit, I would call it, I wouldn't fall in line. But I wasn't, to me, coach me all you want, but don't disrespect me as a man. That's kind of always been my motto. So, just again, being able to play in different cities and different organizations, and then again to have a big picture, thinking, okay, well, shit, now I'm going to this team. Okay, now I'm going to that team. At the end of the day, I'm meeting a lot of important business people and players in each of these stops, knowing that I can probably utilize them down the road once this is all said and done. Because who knows how long, I'm gonna be here. The average NBA career is 3 years. You know what I mean? For me to play 50
Mhm.
years, it's just like, damn, you obviously beat all the odds, but along the way, I made a lot of great friends and met a lot of important people that have kind of helped me move forward in life after basketball.
No, definitely, man. Like I said, I think that I'm so proud of you, man. I don't even know what to say. Like I said, like you like a brother that made it, you know what I'm saying? And I just like, man, I see my boy Matt doing this thing, man. Like you have no idea how much I'd be like, yeah, that's my thing. Yeah, I'll be doing this thing. Like you one of my inspirations, bro. Like straight up. And I'm not even trying to gas you, you know what I'm
Uh,
saying? But like it's real talk, you know what I'm saying?
bro.
So obviously UCLA, you have a strong, obviously start slow, but have a strong like last 3 years of UCLA. You go into the draft. How was the draft process for you?
Draft was crazy. Because I'm coming into a situation where this is the best of the best, and all these motherfuckers are playing their position. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So obviously, I think my skills declined because I didn't really get a chance to play wing. Even once I was rocking, I was just so versatile that obviously I could shoot threes, but I was still a big because I was a mismatch. I can guard bigs, but they couldn't guard me. So going into the NBA, again, this is 2002, so I'm having to learn how to play a wing on the highest level. Like normally motherfuckers know what they're doing by the time they get there, but I'm learning on the fly. So it just took me a little while. And I remember a guy named Gerg who was a great workout guy, and he was speaking to my agent at the time, which was Arn. And I was kind of close. I was still getting shots up. And I remember Gerg saying, "This kid's got it, but I wonder if he can stick with it at the beginning because he may not get it off the bat." He said something,
Mm.
I got what it takes, but it may take me some time to kind of find my footing. And
Hmm.
I, him saying that, you know what I mean? So obviously going to draft, 46 pick, traded on draft day to Cleveland, um, and really never got a shot. John Lucas was the coach. This is the year before LeBron went there. So John Lucas was the coach. I was drafted with Carlos Boozer and then Dewan Wagner, who was a motherfucking killer, but just had got sick and never really panned out. But John Lucas was just arrogant, loud, didn't fuck with me, didn't really give me no chances. When he did give me a chance, I played well, but still got cut. I'm just like, okay, well, I guess this is the business. You know what I mean? So again, we talked about early, you grow on that minor league journey, and try to find yourself. So I hit the D League for a minute, hit the ABA for a minute, but just knew that I had more, And so when I finally got that 10-day call to the Clippers, um, I knew it was my chance. And I want to say my first game, I probably played like 19 minutes and had like 9 points and 9 rebounds. Like, it was just like, if I'm gonna get a chance, like, I'm not gonna let ever,
I'm doing my shit. Right?
never, ever going back to where I came from. Like,
No, I imagine, bro, like thinking about that bus breaking down and in Mexico and all that shit. He probably like, nigga, I
yeah, the
will
little
break a
nasty.
nigga's leg.
We had the when we did fly, it was like the La Bamba plane. I would rather took a bus. You know, I mean, them little. This is not it. So, like I said, once that shot, bro, it's just like, this is it. This is now. And I remember one thing random as fuck, but I remember during that time, this is when Kanye first came out. You know what I mean? So listen to his music and his grind through the process, I felt like really got me through what I was going through. I was bumping Kanye daily because when Kanye first came out, he was so real and so dope and just told us about his journey and his grind and what it took and all the doors that slammed in his face and all this other shit that was happening to him. And once he finally got on, just like me, once I really finally started making a name for myself, his mom dies. My mom died 2 weeks after his mom died, same year, same time. You know what I mean? So it was just like I really drew inspiration from Kanye during my journey, man. But it was a journey, but again, I think it prepared me because once I made it, I saw first picks, lottery picks, first round picks all come in thinking, okay, shit, I made it. The world is mine. But it's the furthest thing from the truth. You got to stay humble, stay grounded, stay focused, and
Mhm.
obviously not necessarily lose love, but just maybe take the situation for granted. We come from nothing. So you get thrown hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, you could lose your mind. But again, I take it back to the UCLA days where I kind of just think UCLA, although we didn't have a ton of money, it just kind of prepared us for that lifestyle that the NBA is all about. So again, my journey, I credit to that, having the chip on my shoulder and the way I grind was, the way I survived for so long.
Mhm. Mhm. I would say, definitely feel like the grind made you tougher, and the grind definitely hardened your skill because I felt you had all the skills that you could possibly have freshman year. I mean obviously coming in with 4 McDonald's All Americans and like you're the one that stays the longest, and just going back on that, like I wanted to say, like I felt like that was the most talented team I ever played on. Like that team, we had 8 guys play professional, 5 in the NBA. All of them played, several, 4 of them played, over a decade. Uh, Gosh, this is one of those teams that you just be like, damn, if we would just had it straight, you know what I'm saying? We would have won a national championship.
Could have
Um,
won something. We had a
yeah,
lot of
a
time.
lot of talent, bro. You know what I'm saying? A lot of talent. So, but anyway, so you play obviously, a long time in the NBA, and you said like the traveling. I know because you didn't deal with the bullshit, but this, my question for you is like about your career, right? It obviously has highs and lows. What would you say would be like your best moment that you had in your career? Besides just being in the NBA.
Um, Obviously you get a chance to play with Kobe.
Mhm,
Uh, the best part of my career was who I got to play with. I got a chance to play with Chris Webber, who's a Hall of Famer. I got a chance to play with um, who's the next up? So Sacramento. I got a chance to play with Allen Iverson. Got a chance to relink with Baron.
mm,
And,
mm,
got a chance to play with Shaq, Grant Hill, who was my favorite player, and Steve Nash. Got a chance to
mhm,
play with prime Dwight Howard. Got a chance to play with Vince Carter. Got a chance to play with Kobe and Powell and Bynum and Ron Artest. Um, got a chance to play with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin. Then got a chance to play with Zebo and Mark Gasol and Mike Conley. Then got a chance to play with Grant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. So, when I sit back and look at just the time I had and the experience I had and the amount of Hall of Famers I had. And one thing about me, Trav, obviously, I was a role player, but through my work ethic and how hard I played, no matter what team I was on, I was always one of the leaders. You know what I mean? People
Mhm.
wasn't so much that I'm yapping my mouth. It was just that I worked my ass off. So when I did say something, people respected it and people listened to it and people knew I had a good basketball mind. They knew I had a high basketball IQ. So it was, I think earning, although again, I bounced around and I still feel like I didn't get the money I deserve, but having the respect of your peers is something that, I always hung my hat on because those guys fuck with me. And no matter what team I went to, I was either starting or the first man coming off the bench my whole entire career. You know what I mean? So
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
teams in this amount of time, but like I played. You know what I mean? I didn't sit on the bench. My first only time I sat on the bench was in Philly. But outside of that, like if you go back and look, bro, I played quality minutes everywhere I went and definitely contributed to these teams. So I would say my greatest accomplishment, man, is really just sticking in so long, being a second round pick, kind of an underdog story and being able to make a career out of it, is what I look back and I have the fondest memories on again because I got a chance to play with some of the greatest players ever to do it.
No, definitely, man. Like I said, I mean, I was so happy for you, and I was like, man, I want to say something. I knew you said on ESPN. I was like, I don't give a shit. You got an NBA ring, my nigga. Like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? You know how many niggas want to just do that and get that, bro? Fuck that. You know what I'm saying?
Um,
It's only three UCLA niggas that got it from
yeah,
the. You know what I'm saying?
way I look at it was, I just my career was always a grind. Always. Nothing was ever given. I had to earn it or take it. And the Golden State situation was crazy. So that's going into my ended up being my final year. So I signed a 3-year deal with Sacramento, thinking like, fuck. I always took less money my whole career to try to win a championship. So I'm finally going in my last year, or I'm going into my 14th year and I got a 3-year deal. I'm like, cool. Sacramento just got a new arena. I'm gonna go home and I'm like, maybe try to help this team get in the playoffs. And they hadn't tasted the playoffs in so long,
Mm-hmm.
so that winning a championship kind of just faded away. Like, let me go out here. I'm playing at home. I'm playing at the crib. Let me be a good vet and help these young boys, further their game. So to fast forward to All-Star break that season, we're maybe one game with Sacramento, or maybe one game out of the playoff race. And at the All-Star break, they trade DeMarcus Cousins as he's on the podium at the All-Star game.
I remember that. I remember that.
Telling me because they're the one that they think I'm the only one who can get through to DeMarcus. Like, no, we're not trading DeMarcus. We love what we got. We're not this, we're not that. So they end up trading this motherfucker at the All-Star game. So I'm thinking like we just traded DeMarcus Cousins. And the reason behind it, because they said Buddy Hield was the next Steph Curry. That was what they sold themselves on why they traded Buddy for Buddy Hield. I'm thinking to myself, like, this is about to be a worse shit show than it already is. On the phone with Vladi, who's the president and the GM at the time, and we're both talking. I'm just like, Vladi, I'm 37. I don't have no time to rebuild. Like, what do you want to do? Like, well, shit, I've always wanted to win a championship. He's like, all right, well, I'm gonna help you get to a team. And then lo and behold, unfortunately, KD gets hurt coming out of the All-Star break in DC. And I'm in LA working out with my kids, playing with my kids. And next thing I know, I get a call from the Warriors, like, hey, Kevin Durant went down. We need a wing. Are you in shape? And it's like, hell yeah. So literally I got a phone call that night. I flew the next morning to Chicago, got there in the evening, and then played like 25 minutes the next game. So I got to that Golden State team, and KD had hyperextended his knee. So KD was out for a good 8 weeks, maybe. So I'd step in and just play my part. Obviously a super talented, most talented team. That team was so fucking talented with no egos. Like, it wasn't about who was scoring. It was about the bigger picture, which was a beautiful thing. So the first game KD comes back, we're maybe about a week or two out of the playoffs. Literally the first game I'm about to play with KD, come out the gates firing, hit my first 2 threes. I'm like, oh, we're about to run through these playoffs. And I would go up for a rebound and I tried to snatch in one hand and I got off balance and I landed on somebody's foot. And it was the worst sprained ankle I've ever had. Like, I'm a football player. Like, I don't really sit out. Like, I got to either be suspended or it has to be like something really, really serious to make it. But this ankle, man, blew up. The worst sprained ankle of my life. So by the time I'm ready to play, like I said, this is 2 weeks for the playoffs. By the time I'm like really ready to play, and I'm pushing it the whole time, like I'm trying to come back early, but I just couldn't do it. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm play like come Western Conference Finals. But me being a vet, like when you're in the playoff in your rotation, once the rotation's set, no one really you don't really crack a rotation unless you're a superstar. And I wasn't
Yeah.
a super, so
Mm.
um, never got a chance to play and go out there and earn those minutes in that time. So that's why when I say like the championship, like I don't obviously I counted because I got it and I was on the team, but to me, I normally earn everything, and I felt like if I was obviously healthy, I would have been one of the guys out there guarding Kawhi. I would have been one of the guys out there guarding LeBron. I would have been like that was my role, but so I didn't feel like I had earned it. So I feel like my body of work, what I put, in my career, I earned the ring, but I just felt like I was hurt in the playoffs with Golden State, so I wasn't out there sweating with my brother. So I felt like I didn't earn it. So when people say like, "Oh, you don't even appreciate," it's like, no, it's not. I don't appreciate it. It's just you don't understand my career, my grind. Like
Yeah,
nothing
yeah, yeah.
felt like that shit was handed to me. So that's kind of
No.
the perception that people get about that ring.
Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, I definitely know that you definitely earned it. And like I said, I think, like you said, you probably was on one of the greatest teams in NBA history.
Right?
That's just facts. And so I get that 100%. So based on your experience and everything, what would be your best advice for the next generation? So like, what would be your best advice, for the next Bad Barnes coming?
You got to grind, and I say that now. Obviously, everyone says that and thinks that, but I think now for this next generation, it's so hard to fall off because there's social media and kids are getting
Mm-hmm.
money in college. Like we I would get a couple $1,000s here and there, and I felt like you couldn't tell me shit at UCLA. These motherfuckers get hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in their teens. Like to me, there's so many more pitfalls, and it's already hard enough to make the NBA. You got to think about it. Only 5,000 motherfuckers have ever played in the NBA in the whole existence of the league. So now there's so many more pitfalls to actually fall off and distractions. So, I would just tell people, and I tell them, like, don't forget why everyone's screaming your name. Don't forget why people who are giving you money now and you're getting these deals. It's because you are good at something. Like, don't forget what got you to where you're at. So, just stay hungry, stay grinding, stick with your craft. Continue to work on your craft. That's what's going to set people apart is their mindset and their willingness to put the time in. Because again, there's so many distractions that can pull you away from what that is now.
No, agreed. Agreed, my bro. Agreed, agreed. So um I would say after you play your 15, what was next for you? What was like the next part of your journey?
I started investing when I played till I was 37. I started investing in businesses that I was just into at about 32. And I think that's the disconnect that people think. People think, okay, you got a little bit of money, you start investing in businesses like that. Rarely does a business turn on like that. So it literally took 3 or 4 years for those businesses that I invested in. Luckily, they actually ended up turning over and being profitable, but it took that long for the business to kind of hit. So I was investing. I knew I wanted to be in the cannabis space. I've been smoking weed since I was 14. So I knew, okay, I'm finally done. I can smoke weed and not trip. I want to invest in weed too. And I want to be, an advocate for cannabis because, I smoked and people, it's funny when I talk to it's like some people in college didn't even know I smoked because I didn't know anyone else smoked. So I was always hiding it. I was going back on the rape trail and, smoking blunts by myself and kind of hiding it. And then again, I smoked all through the NBA, which was a risk. So coming out, I knew I wanted to be involved in cannabis. I wanted to be an advocate for cannabis.
Mhm.
Um, but then a friend of mine told me, like, you need to try commentating. Like, you're always so well spoken in your interviews. And I'm just like, nah, I don't necessarily. Like, I was, I've been on TV since I was 18. We started getting those prime time games at UCLA at 18. So
Mhm.
last 20 years playing basketball on TV, like if anything, I want to learn how to be behind the scenes and produce and direct and create.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
just give it a try. I think you'll like it. So I went and, started talking on Fox and ESPN and it was kind of fun. And then I started getting some positive feedback and realized that I was okay in this space. So just started working towards more of that, ended up signing a nice deal with ESPN. After that, the podcast situation kind of just we found lightning in a bottle. I did I was doing a documentary for Showtime. I was speaking on DeMarcus Cousins' documentary of just about his journey. And one of the producers of that show, she's like, "Hey, I heard you want to do a podcast." I'm like, "I do. I really don't know what it is." It's just like, "Well, Showtime is starting a new basketball department. You should talk to my guy over at Showtime." And I'm like, "Shit, all right." So I went over there. I pitched them the idea. They loved it. Neither of us really knew. Showtime didn't really know what the fuck a podcast was. We didn't know what a podcast was. We just, we found lightning in a bottle. We went sports podcast the year our first season. And then that really just started opening up so many doors, because I think, I had a reputation of being, whether it be a thug or dirty or whatever the situation may be. So I think there was such a misconception of me as a person. Obviously one about me as a competitor, but this is really kind of the end of my career. I caught the end of social media. I mean, so motherfuckers didn't really know who I was outside of the basketball court. You know what I mean? So just kind of show who I am as a person via social media. And then people start, oh man, this guy's intelligent. He knows how to talk. He knows how to handle conversation. He knows how to conduct an interview. So I just think I kind of slowly started changing people's minds, and bro, just the door started opening, left and right. So obviously now I do ESPN. I'm in the process of creating my own talk show. I do Sacramento Kings. I do my podcast. As I was telling you before, luckily we finally caught up because the Clippers just called me because they want me to do some shit for them. The OTE, the high school league, they want me to start doing some shit for them, bro. So it's been crazy that I've kind of been able to move the way I've moved post career. Normally, because well aware of who I was, normally role players just kind of fade into obscurity, after the league, and that's what I was. I was a role player, but my ability, I guess, to talk has been able to keep me front and center. And I feel like, my presence and my word and my image is just as strong now, if not stronger, than it was, which is very rare. Again, if you're not a star. So I've just kind of been able to move. I've invested smartly. And one thing I'll tell a lot of any young athletes or entrepreneurs are watching this, I was able to use my likeness to get deals done. A lot of people have to feel like they have to invest money into companies to be able to get equity in the companies. But a lot of the times it's being able to connect dots. You know what I mean? These smart ass people are creating these companies, but they don't know how to get down to our people. You know what I mean? So me being able to be a bridge from these, this technology and how to form it for the communities or their target communities has really been a lucrative situation for me post career. So man, I say all that to say I had no idea that I was going to get into the media space. I had no plan of it, and ended up working out beautifully, and it's opened doors for me. So yeah, that's kind of what life after basketball has been. I mean, I've been out of the NBA for 5 years now, and it's gone by super fast. But I've established myself as one of the top sports voices in our game, and my whole goal is to transition into real media, just world life media, similar to, what Michael Strahan did. Michael Strahan was able to come in, but again, he was a superstar. So Michael all space and then transition into daytime talk, so that's my whole goal, is to be able to use sports as a platform to get to mainstream media, because I feel like, through my life, with all the crazy shit I've been through losing my mom, a public divorce, custody battles, being arrested. Like, I've just seen so much coming from, two parents that were drug addicts. I've just seen so much shit in my life that I really feel like I have a lot to offer and a lot to give. So now is the time I really feel like that all of us should be giving, what I mean? Because I feel like this young generation is just wild as a motherfucker.
I definitely agree with you on that, man.
anything we anything we can give back to the youth is a plus. So that's really what I'm on right now.
No, definitely, man. Definitely 100%. 100%. Now, just before we go forward, I was going to say, like, when did you know when to hang it up? You know what I'm saying? In the league, obviously, doing 15.
I was lucky, bro. I left on my own accord, and the reason why I left was because I wasn't getting a chance to see my twins. You know what I mean? I hadn't seen my 3 months. And remember when I said I started investing when I was 31, 32. So the year we won a championship with Golden State, I hadn't seen my boys that season for maybe like 3 months. And I was, I'm a dad first, fuck basketball. You know what I mean? So luckily, a few business that I invested in started turning over some profit, and I just wanted, I didn't want to miss any more time with my kids. So, like I signed a 3-year deal that year with Sacramento. So I retired that same year, and they still had to pay me for 2 more years. So I could have played. I definitely know I could have played a couple more years because I knew my role. You know what I mean? I knew what the fuck I had to do. So I wasn't out there trying to be someone else. So I probably could have played 17, 18. You saw Trevor Reeves got to 20 years. I probably could have pushed that line, but I
Hmm.
valuable time with my kids, and I needed to be there for them. I mean, 6, 7, 8. You can't get that time back. So it's just like I retired early, even though I played 15, because, like I said, I
Hmm.
could because I wanted to see what was next. Business had started turning, and I just really wanted to be able to take my kids to school and pick them up and see them and coach them in sports, while they're still young. So um, that was me. I was one of the few that were able to kind of walk away before the game shut the door on me. Too often,
Mm.
especially guys in my position. You know what I mean? It's the phone stops ringing, but that was
Mm.
I just signed a fresh deal. I was able to walk away on my terms. It was kind of a perfect storm of business was popping. We won a championship, even though it wasn't really the way I wanted to it. We still won a championship, so I was able to kind of ride that momentum too. And then, let me get back to LA and be a, get on my father's shit.
Nah, I hear you, brother. Like, one of the reasons I kind of retired was a lot of stuff. The money wasn't the same, he was getting deals, but like I was just like, but my son was 3 at the time, and I was like, it was about that time to kind of like think about him and be around him more and figure out what's the next phase of my
Yeah.
life. Now, for me, it was tough, just because I had no idea what the fuck I was besides a baller. You know what I'm saying? So
That's it, Travis. I mean, we work our whole life to get to where we get to. You know what I mean? At the same time, people in other spaces are working their whole life to get these jobs, these tech jobs, or these CE, whatever job it is. So we're working on sports, they're working on business. So, sometimes when we stop, it can be, we're either starting at the, so some people fuck with you because of what you did, but then
mm-hmm.
or they think, oh, he just because he played basketball, he thinks he can do this. But a lot of the times we got to start at the bottom. Like we've been
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
basketball players, and now basketball's over. I mean, I made good money, but it wasn't money that's going to last me for the rest of my life. So I'm really starting at the bottom at 37 years old. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Be able to have a little bit of cushion and some time to be able to really figure out what I wanted to do. But similar, like you stop playing basketball, like what's next? Because like I
Yeah.
said, worked our whole entire time on this earth to be basketball.
Mm-hmm. No, agreed. Like, it's like you 28 years, because let's say I started at 5 and I ended at 33. 28 years, you're this,
Yep.
you're a lawyer. Now go be a doctor. You just be like,
Don't work like that.
yeah. So, like starting from that bottom, especially for myself, like like you had a little bit different. So yeah, a little bit of a cushion. For me, it was like, with child support and all this other shit I had to go through, what I'm saying? It was like literally trying to figure out, you know, what the hell, what I'm saying, I'm gonna do. So super low times, but now it's better, what I'm saying? Like it's, a lot better.
Yeah.
So I'm just blessed and happy to be even where I'm at now. Now want to say thank you, my bro, for coming on the show. Man, I appreciate you so much, man. It's always love, always respect. Like I said, you one of my people that I look up to as far as what I do now. You know what I'm saying? My last question for you is, at some point we all go through like low, like low lows and, kind of like low points in our career, our life or whatever. At your lowest point, how did you get out of it? You know what I'm saying? And was it meditation? Was it,
It
by
was
yourself? Or was it family? How did you get out of
it was weed, no bullshit. First of all,
it?
you
I
laugh.
love you, man. I straight love you, bro. I got so much love, dog. You tell how it is.
I'm dead ass serious. It was weed because I was going through a lot. You know what I mean? Although the public divorce, ex-teammate gets with my wife that I divorced and is around my kids, and niggas get killed for shit like that off the rip.
Yeah. I had no problem with what you did. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to talk about it, but I had no problem. I was like, I get it.
Yeah, being able to process all that, but then also, Trav, to be honest with you, bro, like really being able to look at myself in the mirror. You know what I mean? I had some other shit going on in my life, and for me to be able to look at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, although there's some fucked up shit, like what part did you play? Because I think so often we try to make ourselves victim, like, damn, why is all this shit happening to me? But ever since I would always try to flip negative shit and try to learn the lesson from it. So I would look at myself in the mirror like, what part do you play in these three things, right? Just say there's three things hypothetically that are really fucked up in your life. What could you have done? What could I have done different, myself, to possibly either fix the situation or not be in the situation at first? And that's hard because, like I said, we're always quick. Just it's a natural habit for us to point fingers. Like this happened, did this happen, that happened. Fuck that coach. But I really just started looking in the mirror like, Matt, what could you have done better? What could you have to maybe not be in these situations? So I really think that was a moment of clarity for me. And that was crazy because that was after I retired. You know what I mean? Like that was like and to me, I just think it's, all a part of, my evolution as a man, as a black man, as a father, as a businessman, like really taking control and throwing away the excuses. You know what I mean? Obviously there is we all have fucked up hands dealt to us, but there's always people that are worse off. You know what I mean? So I really took the time to really break down and really be able to look in the mirror and see my soul. I'm not perfect, far from perfect, always evolving, always working in counseling. Counseling was another thing, you know what I mean? Because again, I had a successful career. My childhood was fucked up. So being able to unpack that and understand and have tools to deal with that, I think is important in our community to us. Not enough people talk about it. So really just coming to truth with who I am and what I'm trying to be, and I'm trying to portray something one way, but living a different way. You know what I mean? Being real. I think being real with myself and smoking weed was how I got out of those dark times.
Okay. Well, like I said, like whatever you do to get out of it, I'm glad you got out of it, brother, because you're so successful. Like I said, I give you so much props, so much love. And like I said, I appreciate you. For the show, man. You can find Matt, his podcast, like he said, has been the #1 podcast for years now, him and Steven Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Up in Smoke on all social media platforms. Just follow him, everything, you know what I'm saying? Like his stuff is fire. I've been watching, I'm a fan, so I watch all the shows. See all the guests, from rappers to, entertainers to ballers to GM. Like y'all have had like so many different, people on your show. So like I said, it's just much love and much respect to you, brother.
Man, Trav, I appreciate you, bro. Love you. If you need me, you know where I'm at. I'm glad we got to connect, and we got to put something up in the air soon, man. So let's connect.
Agreed. You know what I'm saying? I definitely agree with you. You know what I'm saying? Definitely got to do something. Whenever you want me, then I'm there, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, and Matt does have the shirt, y'all. Like I just want to say, like, Matt has the athlete's journey. I made sure I got him the shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Came right from my workout, so I literally just finished working out. So I was actually gonna have it on for the show, but I definitely got it. I'll rep it. I'll post on IG for you too, bro.
Oh, appreciate it. Well, all right, y'all. Like I said, thank y'all for listening. Like I said, if you listen this far, I'm pretty sure like you have, because like I said, Matt's a good dude. You can, follow me at Travis W. Reed. It's REED on Instagram and Facebook. Travis W. Reed. I post everything about, all my social media on both of those. If you're interested, like I said, if you like to read, a former athlete like to read books, you can follow me on LinkedIn, Travis Reed. I got a book club. And also, like Matt said, I got the merch. So if you just hit me up, DM me, on Instagram or message me on Facebook, I got the merch for you, shirts and whatever. Like I said, shout out to Believe and shout out, Spotify, Apple Podcasts and everything. Talk to you later. Peace.